Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning into episode 17 of the Keep It Simple podcast, your 5-minute hit to value first thing in the morning. So, yesterday we talked about processed and being persistent. The day before we talked about taking action. So today I figured we could touch on basically what you can expect once this starts happening, and it's not going to be, it's obviously I've got 5 minutes, so it's only going to touch on a little aspect of it, but let's go with it anyway. So once you start taking action, you've built your process and you start getting persistent with it, you'll notice that you'll start hearing a lot of noise around the things that you're doing. Noise can be anything from yourself doubting the process, or even people that you hang around with doubting your process, or either the fact that you're taking action. I mean, a question I get asked all the time is, why do you wake up so early? And it's like, well, if you have to ask that question, you're already losing, because how are you going to, if you really want to be successful, surely it's worth giving it everything you got, right? So what's the point then of sleeping fucking 10 hours a day? Get the bare minimum. I've worked out that I need between 4 and 6 hours a night, and anything more than that, I mean, sometimes on the weekends I'll get a bit more than that, and that's a luxury. But in general, I can kind of get away with 4 to 6 hours, and I can pretty much be sure to do a decent job the next day, or a good job the next day, in fact, especially when my diet's on point. So you then, anyway, that's a little bit about what I'm doing and some of the negativity that gets thrown my way. But I prefer to call it noise rather than negativity, because negativity obviously has that negative connotation, or that it's associated with bad feelings, whereas if I just call it noise, it doesn't really resonate as negativity to me. It's just noise that I then look to cut out. So I just restrict the number of conversations I have with very negative people. Obviously, sometimes this is easier said than done. I mean, I work in an office with, I think there's probably like 1,000 people on my floor. So it's quite easy to, when you're sitting there, you can eavesdrop in, or without even trying, you hear a lot of negative conversations. So for me to get away from that, I literally just put my headphones in all day, and I listen to, like, I don't know, like podcasts, probably most of the day's podcast. If I'm doing a lot of like heavy reading and I need to think quite hard, then I more tend towards using like the Calm app or something like that, where you can then just listen to some kind of background noise that helps you focus. It just cuts out any of the noise around you that you might not want to have your brain or your ears pick up. So anyway, I just thought that if I'll tell you a little bit about cutting out the noise. And one of the biggest sources of noise I found is reading the paper or listening to the news. So I mean, negativity sells, right? So the more they can publish negative stuff, the more papers they're going to sell. Because if you post something about some kind of little something went really well, right? You'll get 10 likes on Facebook. I mean, this is an example. I haven't been on Facebook for years, but you'll get 10 likes on Facebook. But you post something negative, or you start roasting a friend of yours, and all of a sudden, people that you haven't heard of for fucking 10 years, they start liking the post and commenting, saying, yeah, you sure showed him, shit like that. So people feed off negativity and noise. So for me, I just cut it out as much as I can. Like I said, it's easier said than done. But once you start incorporating it into your process, and you factor in for it, because it's inevitable that people are going to try and throw a lot of noise your way. Once you start factoring for it and you try and cut it out as best you can, you often find that where you were, say, absorbing 100% noise, I don't know how you would measure it, but anyway, let's say where you're at now is 100%. If you just cut that down by 2 to 5% a day over the course of a year, I mean, you've made considerable advancements in cutting out the noise. So that's just my takeaway for today. Cut out as much of the noise as you can. Obviously, it's easier said than done sometimes, but just give it a go and let me know how you found it. I'm approaching my 5 minutes, so I'm going to cut it out there. Take a look at our social media pages. Give us some love. Check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, and Anchor, and give us a rating and a review. Thanks very much. Bye.